Michael S. Heiser, is the angel of Hashem also Hashem? Let's see what he has to say.
Angel of the Lord. Exodus 3, familiar story. The question is, who's in the bush? Who is in the bush? Now Moses was keeping the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian, led his flock to the west side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush. The angel of the Lord is in the bush. But look at verse 4. When Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, Moses turned aside to see what was going on, God called to him out of the bush. Well, that makes it sound like Lord and God, again, they're two different things. One's referring to the other, but you already know the angel is in the bush. You got at least two in the bush. And they're both deity. He said, well, how can we be sure about the angel of the Lord being deity? Well, not
the difficulty here is that number one, it doesn't say that Hashem and the angel of the Lord were both in the bush. If you notice, it says Hashem saw that Moses turned aside, or that he turned aside to see. And then it says, and God said, or Elohim. And that Elohim is attached to the Malach Hashem. Even if you want to say that what the Elohim is saying is what God is saying, that's not a problem because it's a messenger. And the purpose of a messenger is to deliver a message. And that's exactly what happened. He delivered a message. So I don't understand his argument here. Oh, he says you have angel, Hashem, and Elohim. So he wants to actually separate all those three out because he's looking for the Trinity. Now, I just want to know, if it weren't for the fact he knew the Trinity existed, is this how he would really read the text? Because the Jews have not agreed to the Trinity. We've never read the text that way. In fact, we understand that the Elohim and the Malach Hashem are the same thing. And that they speak for God. They speak on God's behalf.
Not only is he in this mix, you have angel, Yahweh, and Elohim in there. But we get other indications. By the time we hit Exodus 3, the angel of the Lord has a history. And in verse 11, as you know, he's relating this as we're reading about it, and Jacob is relating it. He says, "Then the angel of God said to me in the dream." So he's having a dream again, which is another visionary experience. "Jacob, and I said, here I am." He said, "Lift up your eyes and see all the goats, bait, and so on and so forth." And in verse 13, here's the important part. The angel tells Jacob, "I am the God of Bethel." Now, for that to have impact, you have to know something about Bethel. This is the place where Jacob first encountered Yahweh when he left home, and he built an altar there to him. The angel's saying, "I'm Yahweh. I'm the God of Bethel." Remember that? We had a meeting back there. I am the God of Bethel.
The angel of Hashem, once again, is Hashem's messenger, because that's what it means. Messenger of God. Messenger of God means literally a messenger. And that means he's going to give over whatever it is that he's supposed to say to the person he's supposed to say it to. This is a very simple concept. There's no reason for us to assume, because the problem is if you don't assume that the angel is a malach, is a messenger, and he's speaking on behalf of God, then what's the purpose of sending a messenger? Why is there a messenger at all? God could just speak to them. So number one, they're two different entities, which I know he likes that idea. But when the angel says, "I'm the God of Bethel," is the angel speaking on his own behalf? Is he saying, "I, the angel, the Malach of Hashem," or the Malach, and I think in this case is Malach Elohim, that I am the God of Bethel? Or is he now speaking in the voice of God? because that's his job as a messenger.
I mean, how much more explicit can it be? Genesis 48, 15, and 16, I want to show you this way. But Israel, Jacob, again, his name has been changed to Israel, stretched out his right hand and laid it on Ephraim's head, though he was the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh's head, thus crossing his hands. Although Manasseh was the firstborn, he blessed Joseph, again through his children, saying, here's what he prays. There's 3 stanzas to the prayer. The God in whose ways my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked. The God who has been my shepherd from my birth to this day. Now the 3rd stanza you expect it to be the God who did something else. That's not what you get. The angel who has redeemed me from all harm. And here's the kicker. May he bless the boys, bless the lads. In Hebrew, the verb is singular. You cannot translate it, may they bless, like God and the angel are separate. No, it says, may he bless. You say, well, which one does Jacob want to bless the kids? The answer is yes. Both. It doesn't matter. They're interchangeable. God and the angel. It's both, they're both Yahweh. What does it matter? May he bless the boys. Again, it's kind of a shocking passage, especially for Jews. Again, just trust me, because I went through that group of Jews and showed them this stuff, and they're like, they found it incredible.
Incredible that you could say what you just said. Number one, so what is it? Is the angel now interchangeable with Hashem? Because earlier you made them 3 separate entities, remember? The angel of the Lord, Hashem, and Elohim. You made those 3 separate entities. And you specified that they were 3 separate entities. And now over here, you're saying that Elohim and the Malach are the same entity. So what exactly is the dynamic process you go through to determine when you're going to use these terms together at the same time, is the same thing, interchangeable as you say, versus when you're going to keep them separate? It sounds like what determines it is what helps you make a better case for the Trinity. In one case where you needed to demonstrate that the angel is a deity, then you'll make them the same. And in the case where you need them separate, so you can see they're 3 gods, then they'll be separate. That seems to be what's going on. And I think that this reading that he's done here is wrong. You can read this a different way, which is Jacob is petitioning God in those first 2 stanzas, and the 3rd one, his petition is saying, may the angel who's guarded me from evil bless the boys, right? May he bless. That's it. He is identifying who God is, and then he's saying, God, will the angel please, could you ask the angel to bless these boys? So the only shocking thing is how he tries to slip the Trinity, in there without any sort of real argument, without calling attention to what he's done. Again, realize that when he needs to be 3, it's 3. When he needs to be 1, it's 1. And there's no rhyme or reason to it based on what he's presented right here. How much more obvious can that be?